Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Strat Baseball History. My name is Joe, bringing you another episode of our 1962 Basic Cards and Dice replay. Today's game is going to be between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. However, I wanted to recap a game I just rolled for you off-screen. I try to roll a few games off-screen to keep the season moving because I can roll a game in about 10 minutes versus doing a play-by-play online, which takes 30 to 40, so can't roll them all online. I guess we could, but it would take a really long time to complete the season. But when I do roll a game that's interesting, I wanted to communicate to you. We had a really good extra inning game today on Saturday, 4/14/1962, the first game of the first Saturday of the 62 season, between the Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. That's the score sheet you're looking at, and you can see all those home runs. Baltimore with a couple of homers. Boston with a couple of home runs, and Baltimore hit 4. So 6 balls left the park on this extra inning game. You can see that the Orioles got out to an early 1-0 lead. The pitchers, by the way, were Earl Wilson for the Red Sox and Robin Roberts, taking his first start of the season for the Baltimore Orioles. So, against Williams, the first run of the game was scored by Baltimore when Brooks Robinson hit a solo home run in the first to give the Orioles a 1-0 lead. The score would stay that way until the second when Jackie Brandt came up and hit a solo homer to lead off the second inning. The second home run given up by Wilson, the second solo homer of the Orioles on the day. It was 2-0 Baltimore. Moved to the top of the third, and all of a sudden we have a rally by the Red Sox. A double by Schilling to lead it off, followed by a single by Wilson. Then a RBI double by Geiger, capped off by a 3-run home run by the shortstop Rasad. And that's a 4-run inning for the Red Sox here in the third. That makes it 4-2 Boston. Well, Baltimore takes an inning off, and then to lead off the fourth inning, Jim Gentile goes yard with a solo home run of his own to cut the lead to 4-3. And then leading off the fifth, Jerry Adair, his first hit of the day in what would be a big day for Adair. A solo home run, the fourth solo home run given up by Earl Wilson on the day. Again to lead off the inning, and that ties the game at 4. The score would stay that way all the way till the 6th, 7th, 8th inning. And the top of the 8th, Clinton for the Red Sox in right field would borrow a trick from Baltimore and lead off the inning with a solo home run of his own, giving the Red Sox a 5-4 lead. It would come to the bottom of the 9th. Jim Gentile would single to start the inning. He would be pinch run for by Johnny Temple, who was taking a day off at second. At this point, it's Dick Raditz in for the save, by the way. Raditz would then walk Jackie Brandt to make it first and second. Charlie Lau came to the plate, looking to hit the ball hard, and he did right at the shortstop for a 6-4-3 double play, but Temple would scurry over to third with 2 outs, and the next batter up, Adair, would double, driving in Temple with an RBI double, 2 outs, clutch base hit to continue the game. He tied the game at 5. They would then get pinch hitter, let's see, who's that pinch hitter? Nicholson to strike out. That should be an F, but we scored it right already. Nicholson, the pinch hitter, to strike out to end the inning. No score in the 10th. We go to the 11th. Boston goes down to Hoft, the pitcher for Baltimore. And then in the bottom of the 11th, Baltimore to the plate. Brooks Robinson strikes out. Johnny Temple, who had come in for Gentile, singles with 1 out. Jackie Brandt flies out to right for the second out. Temple does not move, But then Charlie Lau draws a walk to make it first and second, and Jerry Adair comes up again with a clutch base hit, scoring Temple all the way from second, an RBI base hit against Kolstad for Boston, who had come in relief 2 innings prior. And that is the ball game. So Jerry Adair, a big game, 4 for 5, a double, a home run, 3 runs batted in, and the player of the game as the Orioles take the Red Sox 6-5 in 11 innings. I wanted to recap that game with you. Other things of note, Russ Snyder, who is alternating leadoff with Temple for the most part, injured in this one for 10 games. He left in the second inning with a pulled hamstring. He'll be out for a little while for the Orioles. So we can't roll them all. I wish we could on the big screen here. But when we miss one, folks, I want to make sure you get the highlights. That brings us to today's game, the second game and the 37th game of our 63 replay. Out of, what do we have to do? What's 81 times 20? 1,620 games. So we've got a long way to go, folks. It'll be interesting when we get to every 16 games is basically 1% of the season. So we're, hey, 2.2% of the season done. Doing some quick bad math in my head. As we get to the St. Louis and Chicago matchup here on Saturday, April 14th, 1962. The Cardinals will send a squad out as follows. Their lineup for the day. In center field, it's going to be Curt Flood. At second base, Julian Javier. At first base, Bill White. Stan Musial, nursing a injury today for one game. He'll be out. Ken Boyer playing third and batting cleanup instead of Musial. The catcher today, Carl Sawatsky. Playing, left field in place of Musial today, Gene Oliver. In right field, making his first start of the season, Doug Clemens, and at shortstop, Dal Maxville. The pitcher on the mound for St. Louis and batting ninth is going to be Ray Washburn. The Chicago Cubs will send Glenn Hobby to the mound today. He, of the 5-14 record in 1962, 5.22 ERA in 23 starts, 198 hits allowed in 162 innings, 62 walks, 87 strikeouts, and he allowed 18 home runs. So, folks, I bet you can expect to see some base runners against Hobby today, although the dice gods will tell us how it's actually going to turn out. You never know. In the field behind Hobby for the Cubs, at first base, it's going to be Ernie Banks. Second base, Glenn Hubbs. I think it's Glenn Hubbs. Anyway, at second base, Hubbs. Third base, Ron Santo. Shortstop, Andre Rogers. Over in left, Billy Williams. Center field, Don Landrum. And in right field, George Altman, who's off to a very hot start. Behind the plate today is going to be Kuno Barragan, catching for Hobby. So before we get any more talking, let's roll up a sleeve and get ready to roll the dice. Leading off against Hobby here in the first. Got a weird lighting issue here. It's going to be Curt Flood. That's a 2-3. That's a ground ball to shortstop. So Rogers picks it up and slings it over to Banks for the first out. Here's Julian Javier. I don't know why I keep saying Julian. That's not a name I've ever heard before. That's a ground ball 5-3 as Santo to Banks for the second out. So Hobby's got two quick outs here against the Cardinals, and Bill White comes to the plate. How about a 1-6? That's a base hit for Bill White. Past the outstretched gloves of the infielders, and White finds himself on first with a two-out single. He's a C-stealer, makes him a 1-12. They'll go ahead and hold him. And Ken Boyer coming to the plate with two outs and a 4-8. That's another base hit. White rounds second. They're going to go ahead and hold him at second. Don't like making that third out, and I'm probably more than sufficiently conservative with two outs and a runner at second. But Sawatsky, a base hit, would get the RBI in. So Hobby deals to Sawatsky, and it is a 4-6. That's a strikeout. Hobby gets through the first. No score for St. Louis. And the Chicago Cubs lineup coming up. If Sawatsky would just go back to the dugout. There we go. So, the Cubs lineup for today, backing Hobby, is going to be his center fielder Don Landrum batting first. Batting second, second baseman Ken Hubbs. Batting third, left fielder Billy Williams. Batting fourth, even though he's hiding behind Williams, is first baseman Ernie Banks. Right fielder George Altman batting fifth. Ron Santo playing third and batting sixth. Andre Rogers at short, batting seventh. Barragan, the catcher, batting eighth. And, of course, Hobby, the pitcher, batting ninth. Ray Washburn on the mound for St. Louis. He's a 12-9 pitcher in 62, 4.10 ERA in 25 starts, 187 hits, 176 innings pitched, 58 walks, 109 strikeouts, and 25 homers. So, pretty pedestrian, middle-of-the-road card for Washburn. He should have an advantage over Hobby today, but it's not a big one. Let's see how the Cubs deal with Washburn's stuff. Washburn with the pitch to Landrum to lead things off. A 1-9. That's a fly ball to center. Flood roams over, thinking about free agency, and takes the first out. Excuse me, keyboard, I need a little more room. Thank you. So Flood's the first out, and Washburn back on the mound to deal to second baseman Ken Hubbs. The pitch is a 3-6, triple 1-8 or a double. That's a 9. That just cuts it off and gets it in quickly enough to make Hubbs stop at second. But Hubbs is in scoring position with just one out, and Billy Williams coming up. Washburn deals to Williams. 1-3, he misses, and that's a base on balls for Big Billy. So first and second, that'll set up a double play ball, and Ernie Banks comes to the plate. Banks had a 37-homer season in '62. I believe he's hit one on our replay thus far. Can actually check. We won't check it. We'll check it later. Washburn with the one-out pitch. Banks waits. 5-6. He strikes Banks out for the second out. The Washburn board down there got a crucial second out. Couldn't afford to get Banks on there and load the bases, or let him drive one in, but now the very hot George Altman comes to the plate. He's had 2 big games to start the season for the Cubs, who I believe are off to a... Let's double check this. Banks actually hasn't homered yet. Altman has. He's 8 for 18 on the season, 1 homer and 9 runs batted in the 4 games the Cubs have played. Chicago's off to a 3-1 start. That's a huge start for Altman. See how hot he is. 2 doubles, a homer, 9 ribbies in 4 games. By the way, the Cardinals are 1-2. So, 2 outs, first and second. Washburn ready, and here's the pitch to Altman. A 6-10. Grounder to second. Over to first for the out. That'll end the inning. No score. 2 men left for Chicago. And we go to the second. Batting in the second for St. Louis will be Oliver, Clemens, and Maxwell. Here's Gene Oliver. Ready to face Hobby. The pitch is a 4-8. That's a base hit up the middle. He timed it perfectly, and Oliver smacks himself a base hit. He's a C runner. We're going to hold him. And Doug Clemens comes to the plate. You know what, Clemens? First at bat of the season, I think. We're going to hit and run. How about a 6? That's going to be a ground ball to second base. And it's going to let Clemens, Oliver, I should say, advance. So Clemens is retired on the grounder to the right side, but he does his job, moves Oliver into scoring position, and down Maxwell now with an RBI chance. Maxwell not known for his bat. The pitch from Hobby, a 2-2. Well, he found a good spot on his card. Triple 1-2 or a single. That's a 7. That's going to be a single. Oh, that's a 15. Still a single. Guess that one was cocked. But Maxwell with the RBI base hit. And he'll give the Cardinals a 1-0 lead with 1 out here in the second inning. Washburn due up. Maxwell on base is an E stealer, so no real option there. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice. Sacrifice 6 is down the line to third base. Santo rushes in, picks it up, and swings it to Banks for the first out. But Maxwell moves into scoring position. For the always dangerous professional hitter, Curt Flood. Depending on who you ask, Curt Flood did more for baseball, or less for baseball, than anybody else ever. So, Flood's ready. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up free agency, folks. I'm sure you do, though, if you're watching this channel. So, more for the players, anyway. Hobby ready to deal a 2-out pitch. To Flood is a 3-12. He pops him up on the infield. He'll thank him for the millions later that Hobby probably never got to collect. I wonder who really benefited from Flood. It's a weird topic, one maybe we'll have to go into on Strat Baseball History sometime. Would be interesting to do some special historical baseball videos, don't you think? Discussing the history of the game that we all love and know so well. Well, 1 run for St. Louis, 1 left, and they lead 1-0 after 1.5. It's going to be Santo, Rogers, and Barragan to face Washburn. Here's the pitch to Santo from Washburn to start the inning. A 3-7 is a fly ball to left field. Oliver roams over and makes the catch. A can of corn for the first out. I don't know who started that phrase, can of corn, but I like it. Might be an Ernie Harwell thing, I'm not sure. Probably predates him, although not much does. Andre Rogers, the shortstop. Here's the pitch. That's a 1, and the dice that rolled off the field are a 6. That's a base on balls. So Rogers gets on with 1 out, and Kuno Varian will come up. Rogers not much of a threat to steal. Although with Sawatsky on the mound and no hold, he's a 1-11, which is the same as a C stealer. We're going to go ahead and do a hit and run with Barrigan here. Well, that's not going to turn out well, I don't think, at 10. That's going to be a fielder's choice ground ball to shortstop. Rogers is retired at second on the 6-4. And Barrigan makes his way to first, so at least they stay out of a double play. And that'll let the pitcher bat in this inning. Hobby comes to the plate. Pitcher sitting card 1 here in Strat, so don't expect much of him. And a 2-6, that's a strikeout. That's about what you'd expect most of the time. And the Cubs fail to score. So after 2, it's 1-0 St. Louis. Trying to get comfortable here, man. These sleeves, they don't like to stay in the right place. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that accent is. Cut it out. It's weird. Here's Julian, a.k.a. Julian Javier, batting against Hobby to start the inning. It's a 2-6. Triple 1-3 or a single. Could get past the outfielders. It does not. That's going to be a single for Javier. And he's on to start the inning. Javier, an A base runner. They're going to have to hold him. The hold's a cumulative -1, including the +1 Barrigan catcher's arm. So it's a 1-14 chance for him to steal with Bill White coming up. He's going to go for it. Try to get himself in scoring position. He's caught stealing. Barrigan dismisses the rumors about his arm and guns down Javier, who just didn't get a good jump off Hobby, probably. So there's 1 down, and Bill White, 1 for 1 on the day, comes to the plate. That's a 4-12, and he's down on strikes for the second out here in the third. That leaves Cleet Boyer to try to do some damage against Hobie. Is it Hobie or Hobby? I think it's Hobby. 1-6 is a ground ball to shortstop. 6-3. Rogers over to Banks to end the third, and no runs. Nobody left for St. Louis here in the third. We go to the bottom of the third inning with Cardinals leading 1-0. That brings up the top of the order with Landrum, Hubbs, and Williams. Here's Don Landrum against Washburn, a 4-8. That's going to be a good column for the hitter. Double 1-7 or a single. That's a single. So a leadoff single for Landrum. He's a B. Makes him a 1-13 to steal, and Hubbs coming up. We're going to go ahead and do a hit and run. Hubbs is a pretty prototypical second place hitter. For the 60s, that is. These days he'd be batting 7th or 8th. And that's an 8 on the hit and run. Grounded to first. So White's going to roam over. He's going to have to flip to Washburn for the out. And the ground ball to the right side does its job and advances Landrum. So Hubbs, happy with his at-bat, he did what he was supposed to do. The ball didn't get through, but he advances the runner into scoring position. And here's Billy Williams. The pitch from Washburn to Williams, who walked his first time up, is a 1-6. That's a base hit for Williams. He did what he was supposed to do, is give Landrum a chance to score. So, base hit. Landrum's a 1-15, good speed on the base paths, and we roll a 4. So Landrum comes home tie, ball game. Williams with the RBI base hit. And everything works according to plan for Chicago here in the third so far. Tie the game at 1. Williams a C stealer. Means he's a 1-11 being held, and Banks comes to the plate. Washburn, the pitch to Banks, hoping for a ground ball. 1-9. That's not a ground ball. That's in the air to the outfield. Triple 1-6 or a single. That's a single. It gets down and it's cut off. Thrown back in, but Williams scampers over to third. Banks finds himself at first, and we have runners at the corners with just 1 out. And the very dangerous hot hitter George Altman comes to the plate. We keep calling him hot. It's probably going to jinx him, but that's the truth, folks. We're just reporting what we see here. He's dead sexy. No, not that kind of hot. Cut it out. That's weird. There's no sexy in baseball. Really? That's not what Madonna says about Alex. Alright, it's getting weird. Stop it. Hold on. It's 1962. Let's try to establish some decorum, folks. First and third, Hub's the only out so far. Williams on third, Banks on first, and Altman waits at the plate for Washburn, who seems to not be able to get the National Enquirer out of his mind right now. Perhaps he's got an affair going on in the background, but we don't pry, folks. We don't want to know. Washburn ready to pitch to Altman, finally. It's a 6-7. Fly ball center field B. That's going to be deep enough. Williams will scamper home. A sac fly for Altman. A productive at bat, and he does the job. Banks will retreat to first, but Altman gets an RBI, and the Cubs now lead 2-1. And the dangerous Ron Santo coming to the plate. Ray Washburn ready to deal to Santo. How about a 4-10? Ground ball third base X. The third baseman today, Boyer, is a 6. On Boyer's 2, that's a ground ball to Boyer over to first for the final out of the third inning. But the Cubs put 2 big runs on the board and take a 2-1 lead through 3 innings. Coming up for the Cardinals to bat in the fourth against Hobby. That's going to be the catcher, Sawatsky, followed by Oliver and Clemens. So here's Sawatsky. 1-8 is a base on balls for the catcher. He trots down to first. No speed threat there, and Gene Oliver, a good hitter. Coming up, he's a 1-for-1 with a run scored on the day. The pitch to Oliver is a 2-8. Swing and a miss. Hobie strikes him out for the first out. Runner on first, one down. Here's Doug Clemens. 1-6. There's a base hit for Clemens. I don't think Sawatsky's going to be scampering anywhere. He's a 1-8 running, so he's going to stay right at second base. It's first and second and one down, and here comes Dal Maxwell. Base hit and the only RBI for St. Louis on the day. He'd love a repeat performance. Hobby has other thoughts as he deals. The 2-4. Maxwell does indeed find a base hit on his card, but Sawatsky, being just a 1-8, is going to hold at third. So no asterisks, but Sawatsky is held at third, not fleet of foot at all, and didn't get a good jump on that base hit. Guess he misread the ball, guys. Now it's bases loaded, and up comes Ray Washburn, and they are going to... A 2-hitter. Yeah, that's not good. Well, they're going to go ahead and try the old squeeze play, folks. He tries to get the bunt down. That's an 8. Let's see what happens on the squeeze. Batter safe. Runner on third is thrown out by the pitcher. So he bunts it right back to Washburn, who throws home to force Sawatsky. Clemens moves to third, Maxwell on second, and Washburn... Yeah, I should say Washburn reaches on the fielder's choice as Hobby throws to the plate to retire Sawatsky. Try to keep your pitchers and your hitters straight, Joey. So, the bases are still loaded. There are 2 down now, and Kurt Flood comes to the plate. He's 0 for 2 today, grounded out and lined out. Hobby with the pitch. 4-12. That's a strikeout. A big strikeout for Hobby to end the 4th inning. The bases left full of ducks for St. Louis. No runs. And Hobby breathes a sigh of relief as he strides back to the dugout. It's a pat on the back from his shortstop. And speaking of his shortstop, Andre Rogers will lead it off for the Cubs, followed by Barrigan and Hobby here in the 4th. Rogers walked his first time up. The pitch from Washburn, a 5-7. Rounder to second. Javier, the second baseman, 3. And that's a 14. That's going to be an error on Javier. And Rogers will reach first to start the inning. I'll bring up Barrigan. We've been here before. Barrigan's going to try to hit and run again. Rogers is like, really? I'm not that fast, man, but we're going to give it a try. Going to try to smack one through the hole. It's a grounder to the right side. On the hit and run, that's going to be a 4-3. And Rogers will advance. So Barrigan this time does his job. And now, Hobby to the plate. a one-hitter. But he's going to try to get lucky against Washburn. A line drive would score Rogers. You never know. A 6-6. He pops him up on the infield. And White will roam over and take that one to retire. Hobby for the second out of the inning. So it's all up to Don Landrum with Rogers in scoring position. 2 outs. Washburn ready to deal. And that's a 5-6 and a strikeout. So both pitchers getting big strikeouts here in the fourth just when they needed them. No runs, 1 left for Chicago in the fourth, and they still lead 2-1. Cubs fans will root on Hobby as he takes the mound again to face Javier, White, and Boyer. Javier 1 for 2 on the day. Here's Julian. A 2-6, triple 1-3, single 4-20. That's another base hit for Javier. And he got caught stealing his first time up. He's a 1-15, 1-16, minus 2 is 1-14. He's going again, folks. He's caught again. Javier not having any luck on the base paths today. He must be reading a Hobby wrong. And that brings up White. Barrigan blows the smoke off his finger. Like he shot the ball down there for some reason. Well, here's White. How about a 4-9? That's a ground ball to second. Hubbs picks it up and tosses to Banks for the easy second out, and White is retired. And that'll bring up Boyer, who's 1 for 2 on the day against Hobby. How about a 1-5? Lost the 2, but that's what it was. That's a strike. Oh, yep, yeah, that's a strikeout. I thought I was looking at the wrong card, folks. Oh, a weird 1-2-3 inning. The easiest way to get Javier out is to put him on first and let him get caught stealing, apparently. We go to the bottom of the fifth, halfway through, Chicago nursing a 2-1 lead, and it'll be Hubbs, Williams, and Banks against Washburn. Hubbs 1 for 2 with a double on the day. Here's the pitch from Washburn, a 6-3. Hits this one in the air to right field. Clemens is a 3. That's a 5 if you were wondering. You're scoring yourself at home, and a 5 on the outfield 3 is an out. So Hubbs flies out to right, and there's one down. Batting next, Billy Williams. Williams has reached both times, walked in, and a single and RBI, and came around to score the second run for Chicago. Washburn deals to him. That's a 1-7. And Washburn's had enough of Williams' stuff today. He strikes him out. Nasty curveball. Catches him looking. Billy thought he was taking another walk, but he is back to the dugout. So with 2 outs, here's Ernie Banks, 1 for 2 on the day, singled and struck out. That's a 6-5 with an aggressive roll. Ground ball to shortstop. The shortstop, Maxwell, is a 3. We roll a 2, and that's a base hit. Maxwell can't reach it, and Banks has himself a single. So Ernie's second hit of the day puts him on first with 2 down. And it'll be Altman. 0 for 1 officially, a sac fly RBI his last time up. Washburn deals to Altman. How about a 6-9? That's a home run 1-3 or a double, folks. That die is, believe it or not, a 4. So it's going to be a double for George Altman. Banks rounds third. With 2 outs, we're probably going to send him. He's a 1-13 plus 2 for 2 outs is 1-15. And this time the dice are on the Cubs' side. An RBI double for George Altman to extend the lead to 3-1. And Altman continues to be the hot hitter for Chicago. 2 ribbies now today. And he perched at second with a smile on his face, claps his hands. He can't believe how his season's starting out. That'll bring up Ron Santo, 0 for 2 today. Washburn deals to Santo. That's a ground ball to short. They were not holding Altman. A B at second. Not a usual hold for me. So Santo is retired for the 3rd out of the inning. But the Cubs add another run, and it is a 5-1 Chicago as we head to the 6th. It'll be Sawatsky, Oliver, and Clemens to face Hobby. Here's the pitch to Sawatsky to lead things off. It's a 2-10. Home run 1-4, double 5-20. Ooh, just misses it there. The dice are not being kind to St. Louis today, but it is a double for Sawatsky. So he's out on second to lead off the inning. And Gene Oliver, steady hitter, coming to the plate. He's 1 for 2 on the day with a run scored. Struck out his last time, huh? Hobby prepares himself on the mound, takes a deep breath, and deals to Oliver. That's a 2-6. There's a base on balls. So Hobby in his POW inning here. His point of weakness, for those of you who don't know Strat, means if he gives up any combination of 3 hits or walks in this inning, he'll be tired. And because we're playing basic, he doesn't have fatigue places on his card, so we'll just remove him. Mandatory removal when a pitcher gets fatigued, except in very rare circumstances, like a huge blowout or a shutout or no-hitter in progress. So here's Doug Clemens with 2 men on and nobody out. Clemens 1 for 2 on the day. Faces Hobby. It's a 6-8. There's going to be that third base hit, folks. It's triple 1 to 3 or a single. That's a 14. Going to be a single. Nowatzki will come around to score. Oliver moves over to third, and that's an RBI base hit for Clemens. And that was going to be all for Hobby. So Chicago's still holding a 3-2 lead. Hobby's still the pitcher of record and can win it. But he needs his bullpen to shut down the St. Louis attack here with first and third and nobody out. So let's find a pitcher for these guys and see. It's probably too early to do a double switch, especially since we'd be switching for either Santo or Altman. We don't want those guys out of a close game. Let's see who they come up with. Pitcher also due to bat third this next inning. We're going to go to Bob DeLiva. Bringing in Bob because we intend to try to keep usage pretty close this year. And Bob only has 39 innings pitched, but we'll intend to pinch hit for him. He's a pitcher too. He does have a 2 POW. But he'll often be a 1-inning pitcher for us in the appearances he makes. DeLiva 2-0, a 2.06 ERA, 33 hits in 39 innings, 17 walks and 22 strikeouts. He's going to have to deal with Dal Maxwell, who's 2 for 2 on the day, with a first and third and nobody out. They'll be looking for the double play ball here. They'll concede the tie if it comes to it. So DeLiva's ready. His warm-up pitches are done, and he pitches to Maxwell. I try to throw the dice away, but save it, and it's a 3-7. He was indeed warmed up and strikes out Maxwell for the first out. So we're here in the 6th. Washburn on the losing end so far. He's pitched 5. Be a little early to pull him usually. Try to sack. Let me look at St. Louis and see how fatigued their pen is. Oh, geez, did I bring in a St. Louis pitcher? I did. I brought in a Cardinal pitcher. Well, shoot. That's not going to work, folks. We're going to have to rewind. Small bookkeeping mistakes today. I also traded Glenn Hobby to the starting rotation of the Cardinals. That's also not going to work. It was a 3-7. Means Maxwell would have struck out no matter who we brought in, so that will stand. Honestly, folks, that's the only fair thing to do. So Maxwell's strikeout will stand, but we have some bookkeeping to do here. Hobby goes back to Chicago, where he belongs. And the new pitcher for the Cubs is, they don't have as good a pen at all. Let's see. It's going to have to be Barney Schultz, I think. Or we want to go somebody else for the short term. It's pretty close. Yeah, they'll bring in Dave Gerard. Sorry about that, folks. Silly little mistake. So, at least we rolled on the batter's card, so the result can stand. The 3-7 strikeout from Maxwell will stand. But the pitcher is a pitcher for 3. And his name is Gerard. Anybody else ever make that mistake? I'm sure somebody has. So Maxwell struck out for the first out, runners at first and third, and we were debating Washburn. Well, that changes things a little bit. Now we know we have a couple of guys available in the pen for St. Louis, and they're trailing, and it's all about winning games, folks. So even though it's a little early, this is a clutch situation. We want a good hitter up there. So Washburn's day is going to be done after 5. He's going to the St. Louis pen, or St. Louis bench. And we'll have a pinch hitter for Washburn. That pinch hitter is going to be somebody who can get it done with first and third. Let's see. We've got a couple of options. Charlie James Ote. Fred Whitfield, an interesting option. Doesn't get on base, but pretty good hitter. Never mind, folks. It's going to be Shondest, the best on-base guy they have available. Also a 301 hitter. Make sure he's batting and not pitching. So the pinch hitter Shondest, the veteran, comes to the plate for the Cardinals. Not sure yet if he likes his new role on the bench, but he'll bat against Dave Gerard here. Gerard struck out Maxwell as a gift. And with first and third, 1 down, he'll face Shondest. How about a 2-9? See that flipped over from a 6, right? 2-9 is a ground ball third base. Hey, that's going to end the inning. That was a 6-9. It would have been a home run. So that's how close Strat tumbling dice can change the fates, folks. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about right now. It's been a weird inning. A 5-4-3 double play. Gerard does his job. Gets out of the 6th with just 1 run allowed. And Shondest will go to the bench as we find a new St. Louis pitcher. Weirdly, we're in a similar... Nope, let's not do that again. No, now we have plenty of time until the pitcher comes to bat, so it's going to be Ferraris coming in for St. Louis. I've been playing a little bit too much Strat the last couple of days, guys. Ferrari's a pitcher too. 3 POW. So Ferrari's ready to go. He'll bat 9th. Let's find him a card to mark his spot. Make sure we keep our bookkeeping in order here, because clearly my brain is tired. All right. Need more coffee. So Andre Rogers, Barragan, and Gerard are due to hit. Andre Rogers against Ferraris to lead it off. He's 0 for 1 with a walk today, a 4-10. He grounds this one toward short. Maxwell a 3. 12 on the 3 is out. So Maxwell throws over to first for the out to retire Rogers. And that'll bring up the catcher Barragan. Cubs nursing a 3-2 lead here. In the bottom of the 6th, Barragan 0 for 2 on the day, a 5-12. The fly ball lofted out to left. Oliver roams over. He'll take it for an easy out. Now the question is, do we keep Gerard in for a while to get some work? And see if this one stays close. A glance at the Chicago pen. To help making this decision as we go to the 7th. No, they're going to go ahead and relieve Gerard after just an inning of work and bring in a pinch hitter because, as we said before, it's all about winning the game. They'd like to extend their lead. Oh, the pinch hitter for Chicago. Let's see. Brock is an option. He's had an off day today. He might be the best option. Well, yeah. We're going to give Nelson Matthews an at-bat. Matthews is a backup outfielder, but a really good hitting card this year. And we don't want to bother Lou this early on his day off. It's only the 6th. There are 2 out. Ferraris deals to Matthews. But a 6-4. That's a ground ball to second. 4 over to 3. That will end the weird 6th inning. Lots of changes that we kept track of, barely. And Matthews returns to the bench. We'll find a new pitcher for the Cubs is going to be Barney Schultz. Schultz bats as a 1. Put that card back here. Flip this pile over and keep our crap together. So, the C, he is a pitcher, 3. Wonder if Barney is related to Charles. They talk peanuts on the weekends. Well, probably not, because Barney's playing baseball this Saturday, and Don Ferrari's batting number 7 is, no, I'm lying. It's the top of the order. See, my bookkeeping's failing right now. Here in the 7th, it's going to be Flood, Javier, and White. So Schultz going to deal to Kurt Flood. That's a 5-5, a strikeout. The second strikeout in a row for Flood against 2 different pitchers. Now here's Javier. Julian, as we like to call him, is 2 for 3 with 2 caught stealings on the day. And a 1-6. This time he grounds to short for the second out. No problem there for Rogers as he retires the second man, and it's Bill White, 1 for 3 on the day. How about a 6-2? That's a base on balls. So White draws a 2-out walk, and he's a C. 1 to 12, 2 men out. They will hold him on, and Ken Boyer, 1 base hit on the day, struck out his last time up, will face Schultz. A 1-10 is a pop-up on the infield. Rogers roams over and takes it for the final out of the 7th. St. Louis fails to score, and they still trail Chicago by a run. Top of the order for the Cubs in the bottom of the 7th against Ferraris. It's Landrum, Hubbs, and Williams. Here's the Landrum, a 3-10. Grounder to second. Javier over to White for the first out. Here's Ken Hubbs, 1 for 2 with a double on the day. 6-8. That's a base hit. So Hubbs has his second hit of the day, a 1-out single, and that'll bring up Billy Williams. Williams, 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He also struck out his last time up. Which for the pitch from Don Ferrari's. Here it is, a 4-10. That's a grounder to short. Maxwell, a 3. How about a 6 on the 3? That's an out. But he had to range pretty deep for that, so Hubbs will move to second in scoring position. So Hubbs at second, 2 men down, and here's Ernie Banks. 2 singles on the day, 2 for 3 and a strikeout. Ferraris deals to Banks, and it's a 3-9, another strikeout. Ferraris gets him, and that'll end the 7th with no runs scored. Chicago still leads 3-2. Let's take a moment for a delayed 7th inning stretch so I can catch my breath and clear my brain. Sometimes you get into the rhythm of these, and one of the things about the way I play here on the desktop, as opposed to in my usual Strat playing, which is right next door here on a table, where I listen to music and watch videos and stuff while I play Strat, is that my setup's slightly different. All my bench players are over on the table over here to the left, so they're not in front of me. So when I reach over and I grab a stack, I might grab the wrong stack occasionally, as we just found out. If this was a draft league, I'd be in deep shit because the names on the cards, the team names on the cards wouldn't mean a damn thing. But here, at least I can refer to the team name and make sure I'm grabbing the right pile. A mental note to do that going forward. All right, folks, welcome back to the booth. This is Joe for your Strat Baseball History Network, reminding you that every day is a great day for baseball. We're here through 7 innings as we go to the top of the 8th. The Chicago Cubs have a 3-2 lead over the St. Louis Cardinals. Barney Schultz on the mound for Chicago. He's going to face the middle of the order here, so Watsky, Oliver, and Clemens. You guys have had some success today. Let's see if it continues. So Watsky, 1 for 2 with a run scored, a double, and a walk. Schultz with the pitch, a 1-11. That's a grounder to second. Hubbs picks it up and tosses it to Banks for the first out here in the 8th. Cardinals are running out of time. Gene Oliver comes to the plate, 1 for 2, a run scored, a walk, and a strikeout. The pitch, a 2-11. Grounder down to Santo at third. He picks it up with no problem, takes his time, and Throws it to Banks to get Oliver by a step. That's 2 quick outs, and here is Doug Clemens. 2 base hits and a ribby on the day, and 3 trips for Clemens. 2 outs now. The pitch from Schultz is a 6-6. Make it 3 base hits for Clemens. That's a double 1 or a single 2 to 20. The bouncy die says it's Clemens' 3rd base hit of the day. And he'll be on at first with 2 men down for Dal Maxwell, who's also 2 for 3 with the runs driven in on the day. A lot of times we pinch hit from Maxwell here, but I like to keep guys in who are doing well on the day. The stats sometimes lie. I know that's heresy, but no, it's not. 5-7, triple 1 to 2, or a single 3 to 20 for Maxwell. Well, it's only a base hit, only. But that'll move Clemens over to third with 2 outs. And now, Ferraris, due to hit, he's going to have to come out. I think, even though he's a good hitting pitcher. We've got to have a better option on the St. Louis bench than the pitcher. So see, folks, when a guy is hot, I like to ride the dice and not the stats. And Maxwell's having a pretty good day. He gets his 3rd base hit. And the go-ahead run is now on base for St. Louis, the tying run over at 3rd. Let's see who we've got in store. Excuse me, I really need some coffee. Charlie James is a 276 hitter. And I think that's who we're going to go with. So James comes to the plate. With 2 men out and runners on the corners. Barney Schultz ready to go. Here's the pitch, a big pitch to James. That's a 3-9. That's James's good column, and that's a triple 1 to 6 double. He gets the 6 on the bouncing die, folks. That's going to be a bases clearing triple. 2 runs are going to score. And we've got a barn burner here, folks. A 2 RBI triple. And the pinch hit roll for Charlie James. And it's suddenly a 4-3 St. Louis. Schultz can't believe it. That one just rattled around in the corner and got past the outfielder, and James has himself a stand-up 2-run triple. Oh, the inning's not over, folks. 2 outs, James at 3rd. St. Louis has seized a 1-run lead, and Curt Flood comes to the plate, looking to extend it against Schultz. Schultz ready, takes a deep breath, and the slide step to the plate. A 3-9, he pops him up on the shortstop. Andre Rogers roams over and makes the play to end the 8th inning. But St. Louis gets 2 big runs on the 2-run triple by pinch hitter Charlie James. And we've got an exciting one here, folks. They now lead by 1 run. Let's see who the new pitcher for the Cardinals is going to be. You know what's pretty funny? It's going to be Bob DeLiva. Bob was going to try to get in this game one way or the other. He didn't care which team he pitched for, he just wanted to pitch today. So, James comes out. He's a pitcher, 2-2. And DeLiva is going to come on to pitch to Altman, Santo, and Rogers here in the bottom of the 8th. It's a 4-3 lead for Chicago. 4-3 lead for St. Louis. The Cubs going to try to make it up here at home, and Altman's going to lead it off. He's 1 for 2 on the day, a double, a sac fly, and 2 runs batted in. He'd love to set the table here, and DeLiva deals. That's a 1-8. Altman with a fly ball to center field. Curt Flood roams over and takes it for the first out. So here's Santo. Santo not off to a good start, I don't believe. Let's see. Well, 4 for 14. A serviceable 280-ish batting average, I do believe. I think that's like 286 or 287. And, hold on one sec. As will happen from time to time, folks, I got a frog in my throat. You need to drink more water, Babbles. But anyway, Santo 4 for 14 to start the season. 0 for 3 today makes him 4 for 17, so he's just under 250 now. Around 230, and he'll be looking to get something going for Chicago. His 2 columns, the good column. And there's a home run on Deliba's 6-5 as well. So Deliba ready with the pitch, and here's the pitch to Santo. A 1-2, that's a fly ball to right field, and no threat. Clemens roams over and makes the catch. So 2 down here in the 8th, and Andre Rogers coming to the plate. 0 for 2, walked and reached on an error today. If I can get a base hit here, a 3-10 is a single for Rogers. We called it. Got to stop jinxing these St. Louis pitchers, and Rogers is on first. With Barrigan coming up, we're probably going to see a pinch hitter here for the Cubs. See what our options are. Oh, we've got Lou Brock if nobody else. How about Dick Bertel, actually? Brock's day off will continue. Bertel, the better hitting catcher, going to come in and relieve Barrigan. Make sure he plays for Chicago. He does. So a pinch hitter for Barrigan here. And he will stay into play catcher when this is all said and done. So he's a catcher for +2. I think we've made this move before when the Cubs have been trailing. Or in a close game. And Bertel will bat with 2 outs and Rogers on first. Rogers the tying run. They need to find a way to get him home. Deliba with the pitch, a 4-10. That's a ground ball down to third. Third baseman for the Cardinals is Boyer. He's at 2. And a 5 on the 2 is an out. So 5 over to 3 to end the 8th inning. No runs, 1 left for Chicago. And as we go to the 9th inning, Barney Schultz entering his 3rd inning of work. Maybe. I think he's going to stay in. Let me just double check my options. Bob Anderson, 5.0 TO ERA, and Al Larry with a 7 ERA. We could go to Elston, although we'd lose him for the next game. Nope. They're going to keep him here since they're trailing. If it was a save situation, we'd bring in Elston, but it's Schultz trying to keep the score where it is, so we're going to let him have his chances with Javier, White, and Boyer. Trying to manage that bullpen for the long term, not just a single game, folks. So, Julian Javier, 2 for 4 today. 3-11 is a line drive, but right at Rogers at short for the first out. Bill White comes to the plate. 1 for 3 with a walk his last time up. A 6-10. That's a ground ball down to Hubbs at second, over to Banks at first for the second out of the inning. And Ken Boyer comes to the plate. 1 for 4 on the day. He singled way back in the first. And a 2-9 is a triple 1 to 3 or a double. That's going to be a double for Boyer. So a 2-out double. And Schultz can't get out of the inning unscathed. He just doesn't want to give up any more runs, but he'll have to deal with Sawatsky right now. Sawatsky or Oliver, pick your poison. They're both about the same hitter. So Schultz ready. Deals to Sawatsky. A 3-3 is a line out to first. Plus injury. The dreaded plus injury. But that does end the inning. No score for St. Louis, and we'll have to see if Sawatsky has to come out of the game. A 10 means he's going to miss a little bit of time. Sawatsky will miss 2 games, so he has to come out at catcher. That's going to be the E. Sawatsky's done. We'll make a note of that mild 2-game injury, a strained something, we're sure, for the St. Louis catcher. And Oliver could stay and catch. We'd have to find a left fielder. Or we could bring in Jamie Schaefer. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in the catcher 2, Jamie Schaefer, because he's a better defensive option. So it's going to be catcher 2, -1. Schaefer will take the place of the injured Sawatsky, and we'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Deliba entering his second inning of work. He's going to face Schultz, and on the top of the order, Landrum and Hubbs, but Schultz will not bat, obviously. So Barney Schultz comes out of the game. His day is done. He is currently going to be the losing pitcher, if nothing else changes. Is that correct? Yeah, I think so. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Schultz. Oh, that was the E. What did I do? Oh, I'm confused. Slow down, Bill. Slow down. Schultz comes out. Here's the E. I must really need to get some coffee going or something. So the pinch hitter for Chicago is going to be need some protein, get the brain going, man. Drink some water. Probably gonna be Brock. Need a run here. Who's a pretty good leadoff man. Probably our best on-base option left. Oh, I lied. Bob Will. Slightly better on base than Brock. No speed, though. Let's take a minute here. 319 box. Brock's got better power. Not by much, though. It's about the same. Yeah. Bob Will gets on base slightly more often than Lou does. And that's what we need right now as a base runner. So, Bob Will going to come in and give Brock his day off. He's nursing the cold, so he really doesn't want to come in. He'll face Deliba to lead things off. How about a 2-11? That's a ground ball to short. Maxwell over, picks it up, and throws out Will for the first out. You ever do this, folks? You ever get curious and say, hey man, what would that have been on Brock's card? 2-11 on Brock's card would have been a base hit. Would have been a single. It's fun to second guess yourself sometimes, folks. But anyway, here's Don Landrum. That's what the Cubs get for strat balling today. Sorry, Cubs. Brett Landrum 1 for 4. Deliba trying to lock this one down for St. Louis. That is a 5-5, and he strikes out Landrum for the second out. So can Hubbs do up? Hubbs 2 base hits today, and as we said, we ride the streaks. Plus, I don't think there's a better hitter left on the bench. Except Brock. Nope. Can't take Hubbs out with 2 base hits. The pitch, a 3-9, and he's got a base hit. Isn't it fun to second guess yourself? That's one of the best parts about this game. You got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy the ride, especially when you're playing against yourself, because the outcome doesn't really matter. I don't have a rooting interest here. I'm just trying to have a good time. And there's Ken Hubbs finding himself a base hit. With 2 outs to keep the game alive for Chicago, and now Deliba has to deal with the dangerous, powerful 298, 22 homers of Billy Williams. Williams 1 for 3 on the day with an RBI. He's looking to tie this one up at the very least. How about a 2-11? Oh, again, that would have been a single for Brock, but we weren't pinch hitting for Williams. Just kidding. That's a 4-3, and that'll end the game. So an interesting one here as I try to lose my mind managing multiple rosters. But when it's all said and done, the Cubs don't score in the 9th. And St. Louis, with the comeback win, they were trailing 3-1. They end up winning 4-3. Let's see, our player of the game. Good question. Might be this guy, Clemens. Might be Doug Clemens, of all people. Who was the pinch hitter? That was James. Yeah, we're gonna have to give it to James. James came in, Charlie James, and hit that 2-run pinch hit triple to win the game for St. Louis. So Charlie James, our player of the game. He's our POG, baby. 1 for 1, a triple, and 2 RBIs. This has been an unusually long broadcast of the Strat Baseball History, something network. My name is Joe. I'm confused, and until next time, remember, it's always a good day to play baseball. Make sure you drink enough water, get enough protein, and go have another cup of coffee so you don't spoil your games like I just did. Been a good time, folks. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.